Thank you. I really feel very honored to receive this honor. I have had a long career in banking. The very interesting thing, I hate to admit this, but before that I had a career in education, so I've been around a long time. I'm going to talk a little bit about both. But I really do appreciate this. I am very dedicated to my career, and I am very dedicated to careers for all women. So this women's initiative just definitely means a lot to me. I also was really excited about seeing Judy Barr Topinka, but I hear she's not going to make it tonight, but or this afternoon. But I think she also is a person who's done a great deal with a political career for women. And as a banker, when she was treasurer, we were very involved with her through Oprah Fink. So she certainly is a person that should know this organization and hopefully can help with the organization. I'm rather new to ChildLink. I'm just learning about ChildLink. I'm sitting by two people that are on the board and who work with me, so I think I'm going to learn fast. But I'd like to tell you, all of you that are involved, I'm very impressed with your mission. It seems like all the different directions you go are so important. The adoption and foster care programs that you have that reach children when they need that safe, secure family, and so many do. I guess the thing that I would think would be the most difficult is the intervention programs that you do for adolescents. Probably the most important too at that stage of their life. But I can imagine what a big program that must be. And the Women's Initiative, the opportunity to provide programs and help girls move along and understand the importance of having their own career and being able to take care of themselves is something I really strongly believe in. I came from, and this also will indicate my age, I went to college, I have to say the late 60s, that sounds a little better than early. The late 60s and 70s when we protested everything, that was just the thing to do. But it certainly was the time when the women's movement started again and women's voices were heard. And then in the early 70s, or I guess mid-70s, late 70s, I actually taught at the university level. And that was the time that we were passing legislation that began to protect women's rights, as well as many other people's rights. But I became very involved in that. I'm just going to tell you a couple of stories that those of you that are young, very young in the room, won't believe this happened. And I guess the 70s seems like a long time ago, and the 80s to many of you, but to me it seems like yesterday. I was teaching at Northern Illinois University, and yeah, good place. And a colleague of mine, also a woman, we were both teaching a consumer behavior and consumer issues class, and we decided together we were going to put together a textbook that we would use to teach the class. And so we spent a lot of time, we got some grant money, we wrote it, we spent a lot of time, we sent it to 3 publishers with our names on it as authors, Susan Peterson and Jill Rubel, and couldn't get it published. Then we decided to take our first names off of it and just use initials, so it became S. Peterson and J. Rubel. First place we sent it, it got published. Hard to believe that could have happened. And like I said, to me, that wasn't that long ago, but it made me a protester. At the same time, I was buying my first home with my husband. We were both teachers. I had a daughter that I guess was about 1.5 years. And when we went to apply for our loan, his income got included as the total amount, but mine could only be included half because I was of childbearing years. And then I ended up in banking. Can you imagine? But that also opened my eyes. I never had an intention of staying home once it's an investment, I was going to use that investment for the career that I wanted the rest of my life. So 2 stories that I'm sure you find hard to believe, most of you, but some of you were there with me way back then. But women and the workplace, I think, have come a long way since then, certainly. I think women have helped the workplace come a long way. But I would still say women need to work very, very hard to get to where they want to be. I sometimes think girls finishing high school or finishing college feel they need to know exactly what they're going to do and their career should be planned. And I guess my recommendation would be, looking back at my career, careers kind of evolve. You know, I actually started as a teacher at a time when that's what all women were supposed to do. I really started college, I was going to be a PE teacher because I just was so athletic and a cheerleader in high school. I mean, that was my thought process. I moved from there to home economics as a major, and then finally majored in business education with the idea that I probably would always teach. I went back and did a master's degree in economics, still with the idea that I would teach, and then taught at the college level for about 8 years before I decided, hey, I really want to do something else. I want to be in business. But I think along that line, all those different things that I did, I always felt what's really important is working hard and doing well. Because even if you aren't doing what you're going to do for the rest of your life, each time you do well in whatever job you have or whatever position you have, it's just the stepping stone to the next direction, the next position you're going to have. I would tell you there were a couple of jobs I took, both of them in banking, that I know I wasn't the most qualified person for that job. I think maybe even the people interviewing me knew that, but they knew what my background was, and they knew how well I had done, and they knew I would work hard to be the most qualified person in that job. So I guess I would encourage all those young women in the room that I think we all have to work hard, but I think women have to work especially hard. And don't feel that whatever you're doing today is what necessarily is going to be the career that you're most successful in. I would finish by saying I invited a couple of managers that work for me, and I guess I'd like to honor them. I have 90 managers. MB has 90 branches in the Chicagoland area, so these are just 2 of those 90 managers. That's Bridget and Sandra over at the table. Just wave your hand. You know, they may stay in retail banking the rest of their lives. I doubt it, especially for one of them. They may stay in banking. They may change their careers totally, but I think what they're doing now, their dedication to it and them working hard will be the stepping stone for them to go the direction they want to go. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Susan. Great work. One thing I can say that I took away from what you said is that you are paying it forward, you know, and the fact that you brought, you know, I wouldn't say mentees, but you brought, you know, someone else here to experience this day with you, and the fact that you're giving back is really a beautiful thing there. You know, when you think about, again, you all coming here to support this organization, and I can take a quick moment to sort of digress, but not really. Did you guys see Oprah, her final show yesterday? Some of you laughed, like, oh yes, I saw it. But one thing that she said, and just as a true testament to the room today, is that you have to give back. It's about paying it forward. It's not just about you. At the end of the day, you have to find a way to give back to someone else. And that's what many of you all are doing here today with these young women that are here. Betty, we've really enjoyed the conversation that we're having with you this afternoon. And again, just remember that it's not just about you. It's about paying it forward and giving it back to someone else. So I'm hoping that you guys can continue that on. Congratulations again, Susan. And at this time, what I'd like to do is to acknowledge our second Susan, can we call you back up for a photo? And your award. How about that?
It's on top.
Mary, why don't you come back on up for a photo, and Tony as well.
They're networking up here too. Maybe you should come up. It seems like you're. Is it a little too dark?
I've got it right here. I got it.
Congratulations again. Our second honoree for today, State Controller Judy Barr Topinka, unfortunately is unable to join us today, but we do have Susan Gowan who's here to accept the award on her behalf. Just a few, I'm sure many of you in the room are very familiar with all the work that Judy Barr Topinka has done for women's rights, and Susan Gowan, I'm sure, is just working just as feverishly out there in the community to support women initiatives. So at this time, I'd like to bring Susan Gowan up. She's worked with Judy Barr Topinka since 2004, and she's on the executive team. So let's have Susan to come up and give us a few words.